Hey dudes, welcome back to another episode of our Rhomas Men's Team podcast. You are about to listen to one of our prior team meetings. If you ever want to join one of our live sessions that we have every Monday and Friday, head over to rhomas.com. That's RHOMAS.com and put your email in and we will send you a live link every time we record. We generally record on Mondays and Fridays. So if you ever want to be on the actual podcast, like we bring men up all the time to talk about their goals, talk about their obstacles, etc., head over to rhomas.com. And then also, if you want to help support the channel grow and also have access to exclusive content, book reviews, extra whiteboard sessions, etc., and some coaching sessions, head over to patreon.com and support us. We would love it. But if not, no biggie. We'll see you on the live sessions. Later, dudes. Enjoy this podcast.
Here we are, dude. Live and recording. What's up, bro?
We're live.
What is up, dude?
Man? Good to see you.
Pretty good, man. Good to see you as well. Dude, how you feeling? How's the week been?
Dude, you and I have stayed in tight communication throughout the whole week. It's just it's been crazy. Good morning, everybody. Troy, ASB, Lucas, Mike, Patty's on there, Drew is on. Good morning, everybody. But dude, this week was just phenomenal. Like just absolutely phenomenal.
ASB, are you pulling my chain, bro? I don't hear any echo.
Hold on. Let's see.
He's pulling my chain. He's pulling our chain.
Oh. God damn it.
God, hilarious. Yeah, we've been in tight communication, and dude, I mean, do you want to talk about the little, what you were calling, little sprinting exercise?
Absolutely. Yeah, so let's just go deep real quick. So we've talked about before, that the cornerstone of results is obviously action, but actions kind of come in three separate forms: projects, habits, and actions. Habits are typically the best way to gain progress over a long period of time because you don't have to remake decisions. So, going to the gym every day at 7 or whatever the time is, so you don't have to remake that decision every single day. That's what really moves the needle for a lot of things in life. Actions are individual actions, like, oh, okay, I got to call the doctor, or I got to, whatever it is, right? I got to buy the thing to then do the other thing, etc. Just one-off actions. And then projects are groups of those actions. Now, when we talk about projects, those are things that don't fall into individual actions because it's a group of them, and they don't fall into habits because you're not necessarily going to keep on doing it for the next year. Now, when you get into projects, one way of approaching it is okay, we're going to come up with a plan, and we're going to, be, quote, realistic about accomplishing that plan, over a 5-month period. But I got this from, I think it was Peter Thiel, the billionaire venture capitalist who was he was the CEO of PayPal. He was, basically partners with Elon Musk. He was one of the original crew creating PayPal with Elon Musk. And it was something extreme. Like, if you are going to get a project done in 6 months, ask yourself, can you get it done in 6 days? And then that's not the exact quote, but it was that sort of, asymmetry, like mindset. And that's called sprinting. Like, can you be unrealistic about a timeline? So what Matt and I are creating right now is Rhomas University, and just trying to create a place where all the men can go and learn. And Matt and I were talking to each other like, hey, like, this would probably take several months to actually complete. What if we try to complete it in a week? And maybe we don't hit the deadline, but let's just see. So it's been insane, that sprinting technique. And the reason we're bringing it up to you guys is, what can you do a project sprint in your own life to make an extreme amount of progress by taking an extreme amount of action in a very extreme short period of time? And it's crazy to see what can happen. Now, I definitely don't recommend doing sprint after sprint after sprint after sprint, because then your glycogen runs out, just like a sprinter's would, like your energy runs out. But if you do have the energy, if you've slept properly, if you have the fundamentals down, a sprinting type of project can really crush it. So Matt, what are your thoughts on like the sprint that we're in the middle of right now?
Dude, I mean, it's pretty awesome. So the thing what I kind of like saw how cool this thing was last week when I talked about the short story I wrote for like another project of someone, I'm working on, and they were just like, here's 2 weeks, write a short story. And I was like, this would take me months. And I just was like, knowing that was the time frame, it kind of shaped what I was doing. But also, like, from my experience was it just shakes out all the unnecessary hemming and hawing that might take place over a longer, if you give yourself a longer time horizon. So like doing that was like, holy shit, I can write that in 2 weeks. And then, we were talking about it and like, let's do that. Let's just do it in a week. And, and obviously it's like, you don't want to beat yourself down to the point where like, you just don't sleep, for like a week straight. But it's like, I've been very conscious of how I spend my day. And I'm also, I'm doing kind of a double sprint because I'm doing a psych-null sprint at the same time. So it's like, which is the same thing. It's just sprinting in general. But it's like something that I would have looked at, a task that I would have looked at is like in my head being like, oh, this will take a course of weeks, or let me just do this a little at a time. I'm like, I think I could finish this weekend. It's just like at least getting the guts of it done.
Yeah, it's insane, man. And you're right. There's so like when I give myself an extreme, like a lot of time to do something, I mean, I got to be honest with myself. Like I wait until the last 20% of time that I have to get 100% of the work done anyway. Like I take myself back to like college days. It's like, it's like the professor gave me a project to do and I wait until 2 nights before, if not the fucking night before. And then you get it done all in a single night, a project that the professor gave you the beginning of the semester. Like, so kind of like we're already doing it. So it's now just having a self-defined deadline, giving yourself that extreme, but this way you can front load it. So that way, even if you don't get it done, you've just done the sprint and you front loaded the work rather than backloading it.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And also some people are alleging that we've just gotten into Coke, which I want to dispel the rumors. It's not true. But
the other thing, man, is like, you can totally do a sprint within the game timelines that you've set, like within the time limit. So for instance, like Matt has done a great job of saying, I'm going to work and I'm going to stop work at, 5 p.m. Matt, for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, I'm going to do the sprint up until 5 p.m. That's going to make me sprint even faster.
Yep.
So you can still play all the game you're trying to play.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'm getting good at that. Like I'm doing it till 5. If I do have some free time afterwards, where like, say like, Brittany will run upstairs, put Maya down, I might sneak down and, do a little bit of editing here and there. But I say like, I'm done. And if anything's needed of me, there's no push towards that. So I'm still trying to get better at like stopping. But I do kind of at least go upstairs and, check in and like cook dinner and do all that stuff. But I'm trying to not do the thing I was doing before where I would kind of go back and do that.
Yeah. No,
so
man.
I thought I was hearing it. I thought now. Okay, cool. I thought I was hearing an echo, but yeah, I must just be high on Coke.
Yeah. If anybody else is hearing an echo, let us know. But yeah, so take guys, take what you can from that. Like, try a sprinting project on your own. I'm telling you, it is game changing for sure. Now, like I said, you do not want to do 5 sprinting projects in a row. You're going to burn yourself out. That is the exact opposite of what you want to do. And I still recommend getting your full night's sleep, doing all of the normal things. It's just, can you cut out the excess fat that you have in your schedule so that you give yourself the room to sprint? But Matt, if you're cool with it, I kind of want to. Well, how is your week going?
Dude, it's going great, man. I got I was faced personally with the task of, for the logotherapy stuff, of like doing a totally different type of learning module. The first one I did was cool getting it done, but it was just like quality wise, they just weren't there. And now I have, and especially in this regard to cutting fat, like I would like do these hour 20-minute videos on the on the psychology stuff. And now I'm like, can I squeeze that into like 20 minutes? Like, let me just trim all of the bullshit and see if I can squeeze it into 20 minutes. So I've done a whole new format, and it was tough this week, man. Cause I was like, you get to a point where you're like, what the hell am I, you put like hours into a thing, like, 10s, 20 of that, 20s of whatever, 10s of hours into a thing. And you still go, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I have all of this stuff I recorded and did. And then, you just keep slogging through. And then the format kind of clicked. And then it was like, boom, and just I literally just deleted like hours of footage. It was like, all right, this stuff sucks. I had to watch it, try to make myself like it. And I'm like, I hate it, scrapped it. And now it's like, I'm just on a roll. So it's like, there's something to be said for like pushing yourself through that kind of unknown territory. And even just, you might be feeling like you're wasting time, but if you can really push through that, and then like you can solve problems that way. And, I think it really elevates the stuff that, I learned like some super valuable skills, and I think it elevates the stuff too.
Well, what did they call, they said in Atomic Habits, what do they call it when you get no progress up until the breaking point? Like what happens with an ice cube, like an ice cube won't melt until it reaches a particular degree, then it melts. I forget what they call it, but it's a pattern.
No, I don't remember that from that, but I definitely can, I can definitely attest to that. It's like, I'm a big fan of just kind of like, obviously, planning stuff out, but like really listening to that part of yourself, like this could be better, and just like really winging it until you're not winging it to the, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been kind of the takeaway from this week. And also and this is something I always heard this word. I didn't really even know what it was, to be honest, but the idea of just an iteration. It's like, just get the first iteration done. Even like for the stuff we're doing, I'm doing a ton of voice recording, which is like, I don't know if you've ever sat and tried to like record stuff that's like, not just like, I'm rambling on a podcast, but like reading what you wrote and reading it in a way where it doesn't sound like your voice doesn't sound kind of weird or constricted, and like being very conscious of not mumbling or kind of, mispronouncing words. Dude, it's exhausting. I did it for a couple hours yesterday, and it was just like, so my whole point is like, all right, maybe I won't have the edited, polished version of that done, but I'll have all of it recorded, and then I can go back and edit, next week, but it'll all be down.
100%, man. Iterative processing towards projects, like that takes a lot of stress off too. Like, all right, I'm just going to get the first iteration done. And oftentimes the first iteration is like totally ready for shipping. Like you can put that first iteration out, but it takes the pressure off of like trying to make it perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's been cool to do this with you. Takes me back to my college days when we used to study stat together and all that stuff. Yeah. Dude, just as a side note, when you beat Kieran in that math test that one time, I think about that often. So we'll have just as a little inside joke.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, I just for so people don't know, I'm horrible at math, and one of our roommates was he was an accountant, and I actually applied myself and studied for the test. And I remember I got like a C minus and he got a D or something. I don't want to slander him. Maybe I got a C plus and he got a C minus.
I think you got a B or an A, bro.
I definitely did not get an A. Oh no, I got a C minus the whole year, but I got a B on the test. So I got a B and he got a C, and it was tough to have an accountant lose out in a math contest to who was essentially just more or less a psychopath.
Sorry for the obscure inside joke.
No.
ASB is saying it's an inflection point, and I think he's correct on that. So yeah, inflection point. Essentially, like you've got a bunch of pent up value, or you've got a bunch of pent up points that don't really get released until a certain point. So what Matt was saying is like he's doing all this effort, not getting any reward, but then boom, it clicks at one point, and that's when all of the rewards happen. It's kind of like gold medal. Like, Matt, who's the number one swimmer in the world? Who comes to mind when you think of that?
Michael Phelps.
Right. Who's the second best? No fucking clue. Right. No fucking clue. Right. Like, most guys are not going to know that. So it's like all the rewards, there's no rewards. Let's say just in this example, there's no rewards up until the gold medal, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, very interesting. But I wanted to see if we can bring some dudes on, because these guys, our team, like the team is just crushing it. Like really,
For sure.
Really, I've got some suggestions if you're cool with it. Either Jordan or MFG on our Discord, or Drew, Andrew on here. I don't know what his username is on here, but one of those two guys, if you're cool with that, or if you have anybody in mind. But these guys are just crushing it.
It's Andrew from yesterday, from the whatchamacallit, from the thing we did.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am
here. And then Jordan,
I'm hearing a slight echo. Actually, I swear to God.
All right. If you want to bring somebody up, I will check. Maybe it's mine, because my audio is coming through my computer, not my headset.
Oh, it's okay. It's pretty quiet anyway. Yeah. Let me bring. I think it was Drew from yesterday. Let's get the Drew man on here.
Mike likes my vest. So I look like my Aunt Madeline. This is like my heating blanket for my traps. It feels amazing, and it looks stylish as fuck.
So I got Drew coming up. Should be here in a second.
All right, I'm gonna try to fix my audio here.
It's not bad. It'll come up every now and again. I feel like if I get close to my mic, it kind of comes to your computer and back to me. It's kind of crazy, actually.
It should be fixed.
Nice. What up, Drew?
What's up, boys?
Drew.
What's up, bro?
Drew,
Looking clean cut, dude.
Dude,
worked out this morning. Been working out all week with Wes. Yoga, eating healthy, not smoking weed, dude. I lost like 5 pounds, dude. Fucking feeling good. Feeling light.
Hell yeah.
Drew, if you don't mind, I got to give you a proper introduction because you fucking deserve it. First of all, this guy's showing up every single day on the scorecard team. He's showing up. Honestly, Drew, you motivated me to get the Rhomas workout sessions up quicker because you fucking asked me. You're like, dude, are we working out? I'm like, fuck, like, you know.
Dude,
so
the first day I almost didn't show up. I woke up at like 5 minutes before, and I was like, oh, what if it doesn't happen ever again or something? So thanks for doing that, dude. What do you wake up at 6:30?
5:45.
Yeah, it's like 9:30 here. It's not that crazy. You're the fucking man, dude. What the fuck?
Well, no, man. Like, but so like, I want all the guys to hear this. You're fucking crushing it every day. You're showing up. You're contributing, putting in the reps, literally. And then, like, I want you to share your story of you're hedging off of some maybe bad habits. What you've defined as bad habits, which I agree with. I don't think they're necessarily habits that serve you. You're tapering them down. What has the journey been like for you, so that other men on your journey or who want to get the results you're getting can mimic you?
Yeah, just a big part of it is just consistency. Like, my life is very up and down. I'll have good days, bad days. Like, I would have some nights where I go out, drink, puke all over the floor, and like, I'm just trying to limit those and have more consistently good days. One area that, like, I just would smoke weed. I like it, whatever, sometimes. But I would just do it too much. I would do it in the morning. I would wake and bake, and it would paralyze me in terms of, getting my goals done. And I think, like, I came on one of these meetings and I was saying I got like 40% of my goals done. But like yesterday, I haven't smoked in a few days. So there's like not even that residual effect. Nice. And I just got like, okay. So first, we watched some video. I think we did like an ACT session one of the days, and it was like the SMART acronym for setting up your goals. Mm-hmm. And it was just making your goals more reasonable and not going overboard. So mine is like, just quit weed. But and somebody said, like, just don't wake and bake or just smoke like after 6 p.m. And just having that little bit of leverage where it wasn't like binary 0 or 1, just like, I was like, oh, damn, like, it's not like somebody trying to control me. I was like, I can do that. And then just having that freedom where it's not like somebody telling me what to do gave me the ability to do it. And now, and like I said, it's like bad habits, like you're melting the bad habits. Like, now that I've done it for like 2 or 3 days, it feels like it's just starting to melt. And I'm not like, oh, I need this to think in the morning because I'm a robot. And Matt also, because like, also, like, would mess with shrooms here and there. Then sometimes you just go out your mind. And I was literally just like, I literally would do it. I'm like, I would do shrooms because I would elevate, and I would have some big idea that would, steer me into the proper direction of life. And I had been waiting for that. And Matt was like, I don't think you're going to shroom your way out of your situation. I was like, damn. Like, that's a great
quote. That's a great quote.
Can you give a little more insight as to like what we were talking about? You feel comfortable with that?
Which part? Sorry.
Just kind of like you were saying like you're having a bit of a tough time, and it was, just to give context, it was like, there's just like more basic things, kind of like problems and stuff coming up. And then it was like, it seemed to me from my perspective, like you were just going to, like, I'm going to just ramp the mushrooms up and come out with some like, transcendent solution to all of my mundane problems. When in reality, that was my advice. Like, dude, you're not going to mushroom your way out of that. Get fully into those mundane, boring, kind of uncomfortable day-to-day things. That's like, those are years for the mushroom stuff. Yes. I mean, I will say it can be a byproduct where you have these revelations, and that can be a help in and of itself. But when you solely depend on that or make that do all the work, that's exactly what I was saying. It's like, if you can really get into the stuff that you don't want to think about, that's kind of bothering you, I feel like that for me traditionally has been the key. And it's funny because the stuff you were messaging me about, I like, it's very similar to me. And like, I have a very similar relationship to weed, where it was like, without it, reality seemed kind of boring and dull, and, like, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. But it also, I don't think I was giving that kind of boring, dull. Like, the reason my reality was boring and dull is because I wasn't doing the things that make it not seem that way. And, that's important. That's important to do.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it is. Because like I was just thinking, like, oh, I can't have any original ideas. I can't be funny. I can't be musical. I can't be creative at all unless I'm smoking weed. And I don't know where that came from. Maybe just seeing like rappers all smoking weed all day, and it's like, oh, they go to the studio to do that or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, you got to just work on this sober self, body that you do every day, and it's actually, you're going to be funnier, more like sharper. You're not going to, like, your eyes aren't going to look stupid. And I just found that just the way and it's also the way other people, like over here, like weed isn't legal. I'm in New York. So like you walk around with a smell, you look high, people, they judge you, and like you're kind of, and you feel guilty and you feel like ashamed, kind of, you're walking around, you're like, oh, this old lady, maybe she knows and she's judging me. And yeah, I don't know what I'm saying right now.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. I think you're making
You're
good
spot on.
But basically, yeah, it was like I was just doing shrooms because I felt like I was having big ideas, like bigger ideas, and I think that's an illusion possibly of the shrooms. But yeah, Matt was saying that, like I feel like a robot unless I do psychedelic or drugs or anything. Like I'm just like, no, if I do shrooms, I can cry, like I can feel emotions, and I'm like, this is good. This is what a human is like, and. But yeah, it's like in my mind, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get to a point someday in life where I could just, eat shrooms every day if I'm ever, and then that's when I'm going to be like the fully, and it was just an entire crazy, I don't know.
Dude, absolutely. And I'll say this, it's I can really relate to what you're talking about. And this was something that I dealt with a lot in therapy, where I'd go to my therapist and be like, I don't really feel anything very much, but like that kind of like panic that sometimes comes, or that kind of exhilaration that comes with being like ridiculously stoned makes, it's somewhat unpleasurable, but it kind of like makes me feel things, and that's kind of, you can look into this for yourself, but it's like sometimes that can be signs of like being slightly dissociated, where like, we're not really kind of in our lives. Sometimes things become so overwhelming that we kind of like pull back and withdraw to a point where we stop feeling things. And as a protective mechanism, it works when we need it, when we're younger, and then we get older and it's like, I want to feel things now, and we kind of don't know how on some level. So I would say the thing to feel is that things, say like the robotic feelings, the boring, like just fully get immersed and back into that. And that for me is, in my opinion, is kind of the gateway back into kind of, feeling things, as your body will recalibrate itself. It just kind of needs to be thrown back in its original environment, if that makes sense. It's a very hard thing to explain. It's hard to conceptualize if you
No, dude, you're totally right, because like, I mean, I feel like, like addicted to weed, is that like, so it's like you never want to be like that. But I mean, there are elements of it where you're like, I need this to be a certain way, and that part, that can be frustrating because you're like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I need this to do what I need to do. But no, I mean, it's been super helpful this week having Wes, having these deadlines. Like, when it's just up to you when your own boss, whether you do yoga or not, whether you work out or not, like, you can be very lax on yourself, especially if you are smoking. It is bringing down your energy levels in it. So just, it's been, all the guys like Troy doing yoga, Gunnar setting up everything, like Ray being everywhere. Just having this community, honestly, has been like super, super helpful, Matt. So like, I don't know, like whatever you're doing so far is like, this is kind of working, at least for me. So yeah, I just like having, some people to be accountable to, and like, like if, you don't want to disappoint anyone, because, everyone's trying so hard and working hard. So you're not, I don't know, just don't want to, if I'm the away moves, or, the away moves or towards your goals or away, like, like just little things like, should I do this? I would not even consider it, whether I should smoke or drink or do anything. Now I'm like, should I? It's like, nah, I don't even want to. Why do I even want to go to the bar and stand around at a table with mask on, and you can't even talk to anybody or meet anybody? Like, why am I doing this? What is the reason? What is lacking inside of me? So I think is, if you're more comfortable with yourself and you sink inside yourself in this uncomfortable, sober reality, you become more comfortable with yourself, and then you're fine with the rest of the world.
No, that's I think that's exactly it. That's a perfect summation of it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see some comments on the side, and Ray's exactly right. Now, let me, if you don't mind, Drew, if I'm going to ask you a question on today's session, when we went through the learning session, you were giving your opinions on the class that we had and so on. Were you high at all or anything like that? If you don't mind me asking.
Today?
Yeah.
No.
See, dude, so I agree with what Ray's saying. He said sober Drew is a rock star. Dude, the contribution that you had, let's just say to the discussion, right? First of all, the contribution you've had all week to my life has been outstanding. Like I said, we would not be doing Rhomas workouts right now if it wasn't for you. Hands down. That's not some sort of fucking bullshit butting you up. I promise you that. I would have much preferred to stay in bed. But let's just take today's discussion. When you gave feedback, and we watched a Wayne Dyer video, and Drew brought up a point. Like, dude, that was outstanding. Like I don't know what the high version of you is like, but I can tell you the sober version of you is you fucking killed it today. Like, you've been killing it every single day. So like, now, like, I'm not going to say don't go and do whatever. I'll never judge you like that. But it's like, if the path is working for you, this path of progress is working for you, and Matt's providing, you and a whole bunch of other men just crazy value, keep on the path, brother. Like, because you're fucking killing it. You really are, man. It's a pleasure having you on the team. It's an honor to be part of your team.
Thanks, Wes. That really means a lot coming from you. And yeah, just having the workout sessions and like just doing side lunges. I like, there's certain muscles. Like I'd probably look like I'm in okay shape. Like I'm not, like super overweight, but like there's certain muscles, I swear to God, I've never worked out in my life. Like there's certain muscles that are like a string, and like a side oblique, like a lower ab, some leg shit. That's what I need to work on. Those really annoying ones. And that's what I was saying, Matt, earlier in another meeting. Like, I'm trying to deprogram, because like I grew up in Queens, like in the 90s. Like, I'm trying to deprogram everything being like gay, like journaling, gay, yoga, stretching. Like, this is how I grew up. Like, people, man. And now this is all stuff I need to do now, just to like pull myself out of this ignorant hole that all these idiots around me were like. So
yeah, dude. It was funny. I got to share this because in the morning session today, we were talking about, just what was it like, just basically putting something out there in the world and being unattached to the result. So when I move out to California, I tell myself, it's like, I don't know anybody. I'm going to say yes to everything. Like I'm going to create a new version of myself, kind of like like a snake shedding off his old skin. And the universe just kicked my ass, man, because within the first 2 days of me saying that, I got my first male coming up to me in dance class and asking me to dance with him. This is not a very comfortable situation for somebody who grew up in Philadelphia playing sports his entire life. Like, so anyway, I say it to the group, and I see Drew's eyebrows go up like he does not say anything. And that's exactly like, I knew it's like East Coasters. Like, that's exactly right. Like what we would do, like,
Yeah, because you were like, yeah, like I was in California, and like, I was just like at this place, and this like guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, do you want to dance? And I was just like, I don't know, my face was like,
and still to this day, like that's a tough thing for me to process. Now, just so everybody knows, we're at a dance studio where everybody's trying to learn the craft of dancing. So I don't know that I could barely handle it. Then in my head, I'm like,
no, but you said that jujitsu line. You're like, I have a dude's crotch in my face. Like, why is dancing less gay or more gay?
My inner world came crashing down on me, right? Like it was like Rick, I don't know that I could do this with you right now, man. Like, that's what I was saying in my head when this dude asked me. But so I was not out at a bar or anything, because I couldn't handle that. Like if I'm just out at a bar,
that's what I thought initially. That's what I thought. Like in a club, and then
you're just out with your buds. Also, your echo is coming up a little bit. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt this, but is anyone else's picture pixelated for Wes? Because yours, for some reason, is slightly pixelated.
Yeah, both of yours are slightly pixelated.
Yeah, yours is slightly pixelated for mine.
Okay, hopefully it doesn't capture in the MP3. That's fine. If that's just the case, no problem, because that means it's different on everything. So don't sweat it. But yeah. So sorry about that. I'm just making sure doesn't get.
Oh yeah, no, but I thought you were going when you said it, like that some guy at a club asked you to dance, and then you were like salsa dancing, and you're like, actually, it wasn't that bad.
Damn, I need to edit that then in that last video, because if that's what you were left with, maybe the rest of the world will be left with that.
No, because then you explained it, and you're like, no, I mean, I do jujitsu, and you're rolling around on the floor with the guy. Like, there's literally no difference. It's just a physical activity. And also shout out to ASB, because he posted that dance channel thing, and I did that house workout, and I just realized like I'm off a step. Like my timing is just like my feet are just not that coordinated. This guy just like pivoting his weight left and right, side to side, and just like that basic 5-minute thing is just getting my legs. Like my legs are just like robot, like chick, like. So I just need to get flexible, and hopefully like when we have like a little like a camp or something, we meet some weekend everybody someplace, and like
that's what we're gonna. The whole point of the camp is all dance with each other.
Rhomas Fest. Yeah, we do
in
dancing.
Target parking lot, like in a very populated parking lot.
We got jujitsu, we got dancing, we have meditation, we have yoga.
Well, also too, Wes, just to put an ending on the story. So I'm guessing you just were like, you took him up on it and just went through the steps and, got over what would have otherwise be a non-negotiable kind of limitation. And I think the reason you give that example, it's, it is funny because it's like on some level an extreme example, which, it's very funny that it is, but it is, man. Maybe not for people who are a little younger, but, I was born in 1986 and like, one time my one friend in church gave his dad the handshake where you like tickle his palm with his finger, and his dad almost smacked him in church. Like, the fuck you did? Like, was furious. So it's like, that's just the reality of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think there is something very, very, very important about confronting things that are just like utterly uncomfortable. But then like, kind of like you're saying, Wes, like running them through a logical filter and being like, what the fuck's what am I worried about here?
Yep.
And it's like, so I think that's a big one, man.
Oh yeah,
will keep you back from doing the stuff that you find meaningful and fulfilling.
Dude, 100%. I can tell you, it's like what was going through my head, right? Like obviously